After her father died, her mother encouraged Karen, 35, to be strong and independent. Karen feels loved and comfortable in her tiny family despite financial struggles. She worked hard and earned a good wage at a foreign corporation as an independent child, yet she still lived frugally. An acquaintance introduces Karen to John, changing her life. John, a wealthy and elegant man, introduces Karen to a lavish world she has never known. She initially thought John's warmth and caring were perfect for a family. Karen's life changes when they marry soon after. The contrasts in life view between Karen and John become apparent after marriage. John, a traditional man, wanted Karen to quit her career and stay home. However, Karen sees her profession as a source of pride and independence as well as income. "Karen, you shouldn't work anymore, you've made enough money," John said kindly but firmly. Karen heard her husband's requests but said, "I appreciate what you do, but I can't give up on my career. We can build a family together and still remain financially independent, right?" After reluctantly agreeing, John began to express displeasure. John didn't share work or chores, unlike Karen. After work, he had dinner and took time off without minding that Karen was cleaning the kitchen. Karen wanted to talk to John to find a solution, but John continually ignored her. Their dispute escalated over time. Karen was fatigued after finishing work and taking care of the house. She knew their relationship was unfair, but was hesitant to speak up for fear of conflict. Karen had the bravery to tell John she wanted children. She said, "John, I think it's time for us to consider having children," believing it would bring them closer. John shrugged and said, "We don't need you. I'm busy, and so am I. Raising children only makes things more troublesome." Karen was stunned by her husband's abrupt refusal. "But I've always dreamed of having a complete family. You can take care of your children without your help, but you should also be responsible." John said, "Raising children is my business. He works to earn money to support his family. That's enough. If you want to complicate your life, then don't expect me to participate." John's chilly words shook Karen's heart. It was silent in the living room while she cried that night. Her wish to have children and lowly upbringing were mocked. She wondered if this marriage was worth it. Karen maintains the connection, expecting time will resolve the conflict. But John's disinterest and hatred are growing. He ignored her feelings and distanced himself. Karen felt lonely in her marriage due to John's indifference, quiet dinners, and brief discussions. Karen refused to quit. She believed greater effort would improve things. John seemed unwilling to change. As their marriage became more unstable, Karen realized she may have been naive to think love could overcome any divides. Karen takes a long business trip to help her and John evaluate their relationship. When she returns, she finds John has changed the door lock and has forged divorce papers and married his mistress. This betrayal ended Karen's hopes and started a difficult legal and personal battle. John's indifference became apparent after months of Karen's efforts to keep the marriage frigid. Growing inconsistencies and emotional estrangement create an unfillable hole. She remains hopeful that they can find a common voice to heal. Karen gets a large company project that necessitates a long business travel. John reacted strangely when she told him. His smile returned after months, and he continued, "You can go to work with peace of mind. When you come back, I will have a big surprise for you." Karen felt awed and hopeful. She almost gave up on John changing, but his grin and promise made her doubt. She thought, maybe we can do it again. Karen's nervousness persisted during the business trip. John rarely spoke, and when she called, he answered over the loudspeaker or hung up quickly. She attempted to ignore the negative ideas, thinking he was making something wonderful. Karen couldn't open her flat door when she returned. The lock was changed. She called John, who didn't answer. Eventually, he appeared at the door, emotionless. "What did you do to change the house lock?" Karen inquired, her voice revealing her uncertainty and fear. John said, "I have 2 surprises for you. First, we are divorced. I've filed for divorce with your signature." She was shocked. "Your signature? How is that possible? I've never signed any papers." John grinned slightly. "I asked you to testify and forge my signature. The procedure is complete." John kept going while Karen's world fell apart. "Secondly," added, "I just married Susan. That's the biggest surprise." She couldn't believe her ears. "What are you saying? Married, but we haven't officially divorced yet. John shrugged. It doesn't matter anymore. Susan accepted him. I'm nothing. Karen cries and exits the flat. The man she trusted deceived her and humiliated her with his coldness and scorn. She eventually became angry after the agony. Karen couldn't let this end like way. She hired a lawyer and sought legal protection in the days that followed. John falsified her signature and hired a phony witness to complete the divorce, she discovers when she checks the papers. This is illegal and invalidates the divorce. Karen goes farther by hiring a private detective to probe John and Susan's relationship. She learns that John married Susan when she was on a business trip, even though he was still married to her. Karen realized this was a legal struggle and a fight for her dignity and worth. She faced John and resolved to reveal things. A betrayal ends a relationship. First, she learned that their wedding was public and attended by many. I can't believe he's this cheeky. Karen told her lawyer, I want him to be held accountable for everything he did. Karen saw John during legal mediation a week later. This embarrassed John, who had always been confident and looked down on Karen. Karen, do you really want to make a big deal out of this? He questioned gently. We can solve everything smoothly. I don't need to make it difficult for you. Karen faced him, speaking calmly but firmly. John, you deceived and betrayed me. This is not just about me, but also about you being held accountable for your actions. I will not let you continue to disregard the law and others. John weakly smiled to blame Karen. I'm just trying to get money from you, right? It's typical of the poor. Karen was calm. Do you think I need your money? You were wrong. This is not about money, but about the respect I deserve. And I'm going to do everything to make sure you can't do this to anybody else. Karen sued John for document falsification and fraud. Her claim also targeted Susan, whom she found in this unlawful connection without knowing John was not divorced. Susan phoned Karen after Karen's lawyer informed her. I didn't know he was still your husband, she trembled. I'm sorry for being involved in this. Karen said, Susan, I don't blame you, but I need you to understand that what he does hurts not only me but yourself. It's time for both of us to get justice back. Susan cooperates, revealing John's lies. John's testimony was undisputed. Besides compensating Karen, he fears prosecution for forging records. John was miserable after losing his career, reputation, and Susan and Karen's disapproval. Karen was happy she had finally defended herself. She reclaimed her rights and asserted her strength through this court battle. She knew this was not the end, but she was ready for what came next. This is a lesson he must learn, Karen thought. And this is also an opportunity for me to start over, stronger and more confident than ever. In addition to fighting for justice, Karen's tale shows that sometimes standing up for yourself is the first step to achieving true value and happiness. Karen is determined to safeguard her rights and expose John's wrongdoings after suing him. She wanted to be more than a victim. Karen reveals things with a lawyer and convincing evidence, putting John in a worse position. After Karen sent her reimbursement notice, John's lover, Susan, contacted her. Susan was sincere in their tense call. Susan, shaking, added, I didn't know that he was still married to you. He told me that he was divorced. I'm really sorry for being involved in this. Karen carefully listened to Susan, her emotions not as angry as she anticipated. I understand. I don't blame you for being deceived, but you need to know that he took advantage of both of us. If you're willing to cooperate, we can unravel it all. Susan concurred. She submitted text messages, emails, and John's divorce vows as evidence. Susan even said her wedding to John was grand, with numerous guests, whom she subsequently realized were actors hired as the backdrop. Karen and her lawyer swiftly added Susan's evidence to the case. John was undisputed in court. He is accused of faking documents, fraud, and an illicit wedding while Karen's legal husband. At trial, John said it was a misunderstanding. I just want to start my life again, stated. I don't mean to hurt anyone. His statements are irrelevant given the evidence. After analyzing the full case, the judge found John accountable for Karen and Susan's damages. He also risks criminal prosecution for law infractions. John returns home to his parents for aid after reaching a dead end. His actions now hurt his parents, who were proud of him. To avoid lawsuits, they had to compensate Karen and Susan. Karen, though vindicated, is bitter. I don't want to hurt his family, she told the lawyer, but I also can't let everything then go by without anyone being responsible. After learning everything, John's parents apologized to Karen. We can't forgive him for what he did, stated John's father. But we will take responsibility for its actions. We apologize for not teaching him better. Karen gets paid by John and Susan. She values her self-esteem and ability to resist deception more than money. John's life was difficult after losing his career, reputation, and family authority. To make up for the damages, his parents made him work hard to pay off his debts and cut any personal spending. Karen started over after finishing legal formalities. She pursued her job and moved abroad to start over. Leaving this terrible setting was Karen's best option to recover. I've lost a lot, Karen thought, but I've also learned that no one has the right to take away my value. This is just the beginning of a new chapter in my life. Karen's story ends with John's pay and begins a new one, where she is strong, confident, and ready to face any obstacle. Karen felt relieved after John's story was revealed and the case ended. The court battle helped her get justice and started her recovery. This path is not without obstacles. Karen understood starting fresh required more than guts. After his guilt was revealed, John was miserable. After losing his job and reputation, he returned home. Once proud of their kid, his parents now lead. To repay Karen and Susan, they make him work hard at a relative's construction company. Karen is not gloating about John's plight despite her righteousness. She knows not to push him to the brink. She wants to prove herself and end a sad chapter. This is not about revenge, Karen informed a close friend. I just want to get back what belongs to me and find myself again after everything I've lost. Karen took time to recuperate after the lawsuit. She sought a new apartment after leaving her old one, which held terrible memories. Restarting in a small but lovely city center apartment, Karen concentrates more on her career. Her perseverance earned her a senior management position in the corporation. She is respected by coworkers and supervisors for her work ethic and resilience. Karen receives an unexpected invitation from the company's international headquarters. She was offered the unusual job of regional director, which she never dreamed she would get. This is the new beginning I've been looking for, Karen thought. She eagerly accepted the opportunity to move overseas. In addition to changing her job environment, the trip allows Karen to escape her past. She felt new and freer after leaving the country. Karen rapidly acquired the respect of her multinational coworkers at her new job. New acquaintances in her new environment made her realize that life is about fun, sharing, and hope, not just work and duties. Karen met headquarters executive Ethan during a leadership team meeting. Ethan admires his brilliance, genuineness, and care. He became Karen's close friend. The two developed a respectful, sharing relationship. Ethan readily offers to help Karen in any situation. I don't care about your past, he said. I just want to build a good future with you. Karen discovered she was pregnant soon after. A major turning point in her life, this positive news shows that she is finally building the happiness she dreamed of. Ethan, her new partner, happily shares family chores and is willing to take a leave to help Karen raise her children. Karen smiled as she looked out the window in her new house at the sunlight. She learned from her struggles, pain, and betrayal, making her stronger. I used to think I lost everything, Karen thought. But now I realize that only by letting go of things that don't belong to me can I find true happiness. Karen's tale shows that believing in oneself and having the strength to continue forward always leads to greater things, no matter how hard life is. Karen has ended her hard marriage and court battle with John. She moved abroad to work at the company's headquarters, hoping for a better future. Karen understood she was rebuilding happiness from her past suffering more than her work. Karen excelled at the company's headquarters. Her aggressiveness, leadership, and resilience make her a respected director. The international environment also fosters new friendships and a more open outlook on life. Karen met headquarters executive Ethan at a senior leader meeting. Ethan admires his wisdom, expertise, genuineness, and understanding. They became fast friends, talking about work and life. Karen and Ethan entered friendship gradually. Ethan gently and respectfully makes Karen feel safe and loved for the first time. At a private dinner, Ethan told Karen, "I don't care about your past. I just want to accompany you in the future." Those words moved Karen. After all, she found someone to share life's joys and challenges. Karen became pregnant shortly after their relationship became serious. She received this fantastic news as a gift after her trauma. Karen, who thought a happy family was unattainable, can start afresh. After hearing the news, Ethan was excited. He responded, "We're going to take care of the baby together," beaming. "I'm willing to take a leave of absence to stay home to support you in the first few months." The way Ethan handles family chores makes Karen feel different from her past marriage. He is a partner and willing to share work and parenting duties. Karen took a break from work to focus on her health and prepare for her kid. Karen no longer thought relying on others was weak, even if she was formerly powerful and independent. She gradually balanced work and life with Ethan's help. While decorating the baby's room, Karen stated, "I used to think that I would never have a full family. But now, I see that the difficulties of the past have led me to this happiness." Ethan grinned and grabbed her shoulder. Sometimes we have to go through big storms to realize the value of clear blue skies. In her final days of pregnancy, Karen can reflect on her adventure. Instead of hurting her, her former marriage anguish helps her appreciate her current bliss. She recognized that without her failures and losses, she would not be as strong and confident. Karen writes to her future self before giving birth, "Always remember that your worth lies not in how others treat you, but in how you face all difficulties. Love yourself and don't hesitate to ask for respect and equality in any relationship." Karen had great happiness when the child was born. Her hollow feeling and need to prove herself were gone. Ethan and her newborn child show Karen that she has found her dream family. Karen overcomes her previous suffering and achieves pleasure in the present after several incidents. But her path goes beyond forming a new family to discovering herself, happiness, and how to inspire others. Karen had a cup of warm tea near the window on a quiet afternoon. She watched her child play with Ethan in the sunny garden. This scene contrasts with her dreary John days. Karen remembered sacrificing her independence and delight for an unsuitable marriage. She was terrified, doubted herself, and thought happiness was far away. Now, as she looks at her modest family, she realizes that her past struggles are only a stepping stone to finding her actual significance. Karen told her story. She realized that her experiences could help other women, especially those in toxic situations. Karen began blogging about her struggles, self-discovery, and new life. She discussed her failures, lessons, and how she surmounted seemingly impossible obstacles. Karen's articles gained popularity immediately. Her narrative touched helpless women. They thank her, relate situations, and ask her advice. One said, "Your story gave me the courage to leave a toxic relationship. I don't feel alone anymore. Thank you for sharing." Karen believes she is helping others and healing herself by sharing. She knew she was giving them hope and strength. Although Karen is happy in her new family, she continues. She pursues career growth and learning. Karen speaks at women's rights seminars and international events about her story. Ethan has always supported Karen and accompanies her children to her activities. He is proud of his wife and encourages her to follow her beliefs. In a family dinner, Ethan asked, "Did you ever think all this would happen? From a traumatized woman, I have now become someone who empowers others." Karen smiled with steady gaze. "I used to think I couldn't overcome. But when I started loving myself and believing that I deserved to be happy, everything changed." Karen no longer attributes happiness to others. True happiness comes from liking and respecting herself, she realizes. Ethan and other good relationships enhance her already wonderful life. While holding her infant, Karen whispered, "Son, I want you to grow up believing that you deserve all that is good. Never let anyone make you doubt your worth." Karen's narrative goes beyond revenge and past justice. Rebirth, converting wounds into strength, and constructing a future on past lessons are its themes. Karen continues to share her message through publications, lectures, and workshops. She inspired women trying to escape unhealthy relationships. Karen was touched by a young woman's thank you letter. The woman wrote, "She not only helped me change my life, but also helped me to believe that I deserve to be happy. Thank you for sharing your story." Karen smiles, knowing that her experience is both personal and a chance to help others. Ethan played in the sun, while Karen watched on a peaceful afternoon. She knows her trip is far from over. But she is ready for it. Karen has found true happiness, happiness she deserves, through love, confidence, and self-worth.